the news tonight, federal government takes steps to end grid collapse. Agriculture Ministry to adopt RHI Agriculture Support Programmer. Good evening and welcome to NTA Ijebu Ode News at 7. My name is Mercy Ezeshi and here are the news details. Federal government says it's adopting holistic approach in addressing recurring incidents of grid collapse in the power sector. The assurance is coming from the Ministry of Power, Bayo Adelabu, as the Investigative Committee on Frequent Incidents of Grid Collapse submits its report. Correspondent Joshua Oji to report that the short-term recommendations are expected to be implemented within the next 6 months to stabilize the grid.
We need to test those equipment, particularly at the critical nodes. We start from there. And then we should develop framework and adopt reliability-centered maintenance, replacement of aged and obsolete equipment, and enhance SCADA and telecommunication tools. Develop framework to attract private investment across the value chain, and deploy IoT device for generating units and transmission lines. There is need to also firm gas contracts, develop and implement measures to combat vandalization and energy theft.
And the recommendations are practical recommendations, realistic recommendations that are implementable and I believe will bring an end to this ugly trend. The issue of grid collapse should be a thing of the past.
The head of service of Federation, Mrs. Didi Esther Wilson-Jack, says the success of the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is hinged on the critical role of the civil service and its ability to plan, implement, monitor government initiatives effectively and efficiently. Mrs. Wilson-Jack stated this at the meeting of National Council of Establishment held at Ede, Osun State. Femi Afaragun has the details.
At the 46th National Council on Establishment, policymakers, civil service leaders, and stakeholders from across the country gathered to shape the country's public service. The meeting will be the first for the head of service of the Federation, Mrs. Didi Esther Wilson-Jack, and she emphasized the council's role in steering reforms aimed at creating more responsive and adaptable public service.
To the esteemed heads of service, I urge you to champion a culture where innovation and actionable ideas flow freely and inclusively, impacting every level of our service. This spirit of innovation should cascade from the senior staff down to junior staff who carry out our day-to-day operations with dedication.
Osun State Deputy Governor Prince Kola Adewusi emphasized the important role civil servants play in implementation of government policies.
I have always held the public service in high esteem and view technocrats as partners in the ways of progress of this administration.
I commend the dedication of all stakeholders in advancing the framework and policies that guide our esteemed civil service.
As the Council continues its sessions, the discussions are expected to further outline practical steps for implementing initiatives that will ensure effective civil service in all states of the Federation. From Ede in Osun State, Femi Afaragun, NTA News.
Attracted by the numerous potential of Renewed Hope Initiatives Agricultural Support Program, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security says it is set to adopt and operate some of the interventions, particularly Every Home a Garden competitions as government programs. Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, stated this after attending the 2024 fourth quarterly meeting of Renewed Hope Initiative state coordinators with Nigerian First Lady Oluremi Tinubu in the villa.
If you look at the Every Home a Garden, it will amaze you how many people are being inspired to have their own garden. So this is what I'm doing, just to have people to do what I do. And then if you are a leader and then you want people to follow, you have to set a good standard. And that's the standard I'm doing.
Okay, yes. Because right now you all agree that, yes, the food security challenge we are facing is precarious. And we are learning a lot. One of the things is that every home, for example, represents a secure location as much as possible. So when you have some small farming taking place there, whatever is produced there, is secure. So when you encourage that and you are having millions of Nigerians having that, I think we are contributing to sustainable food security. So as a ministry, we are not just, this is not a one-off. We see this as an opportunity, and we are taking this opportunity hands-on. We are going to make sure it's institutionalized. We are mainstreaming it into our operation, and we are supporting all of this. And I'm basically here to, speak to the first ladies of the various states who are here in a meeting with her to tell them exactly what we intend to do and how we're going to go about it. We have a budget line, but based on what we have come out with now, haven't done all the processes and whatever, about 68 million will be going to each of the states, or thereabout. I can't give you the exact figures, but definitely it will be about 68 million that will be going to them for the various components. So, and when we are sending it, of course, each of these projects have the various components. So we'll be sending along with a schedule that will tell them for the first one, the women empowerment, training and women empowerment, whatever the amount is, for the young farmers, whatever is there, for the Every Home a Garden, and then the Young Farmers Club.
Federal government has been charged to create enabling environment and provide adequate facilities as well as incentives for Nigerian professionals to operate. The first professor of sports psychologist in Nigeria, who is also the Vice Chancellor of Southwestern University Ijebu, Professor Oluwaseun Omotayo, gave this advice while delivering a lecture at the 15th year anniversary celebration of Ijebu Professionals Excellent Foundation IPEF in Ijebu Ode. Anthony Gadoni has the details.
Conceptualized 15 years ago, Ijebu Professional Excellence Foundation IPEF is an organization set up as a platform for the promotion of professionalism in Ijebu land in line with the age-old reputation. Speaking at the ceremony, the Vice Chancellor of Southwestern University Ijebu, Professor Seun Omotayo, blamed professional brain drain in the country on government's inability to create enabling environments and adequate facilities for Nigeria professionals to operate.
I advise government in this country to place premium on professionalism in whatever they do. In appointment, for instance, somebody is not a medical doctor should be the health minister. A sports professional should be the sports minister.
Earlier, while welcoming the guests, the chairman Ijebu Professional Excellence Foundation Governing Council, Segun Mafe, said, aside being a platform for Ijebu professionals to come together and develop Ijebu land, the foundation is also an avenue for identified professionals to support indigent and talented youths in Ijebu land.
Able to provide a platform, a forum for all Ijebu professionals across all professions, ranging from medicine, engineering, insurance, across all the professions, to come together as a multidisciplinary body where they can interact and then be able to provide a voice and a rallying point for the progress of Ijebu land.
Ijebus have done very well in diaspora rather than here. So what we need to do is attract the Ijebus back. Not just government. Government is to give security and infrastructure. but long-lasting development is in the private sector.
High point of the celebration was recognition of some deserving individual professionals with different categories of awards ranging from platinum, gold, silver, and diamond for their immense contributions to the society. Appreciating IPEF for the honor on behalf of other awardees, one of the awardees said this will spur them to perform more.
This Diamond Award is a further motivation to increase commitment and continuous great contributions to the realization of the foundation.
Ijebu Professional Excellence Foundation, according to some members, has in the past 15 years of its existence survived against all odds and challenges and will continue to overcome. In Ijebu ode, Anthony Gandonu, NTA News.
Without peace, it will be impossible to amicably resolve the myriad of interstate boundaries disputes across the country. The Director General of the Nigerian Boundary Commission, Adimu Adoyi, emphasized this in Abuja at a forum to advance conversations among stakeholders on the Abia and Akwa Ibom boundary disputes. Kelvin Ebonuaye reports.
Abia Akwa Ibom interstate boundary spans hundreds of kilometers at the Ini local government in Akwa Ibom, Nikoano local government in Abia State. It is one of the most volatile boundaries with several crises in the past, which resulted in the suspension of work in the tracing and fieldwork by officials of the NBC since 2014. Following breakthrough in talks brokered by the NBC, the groundwork for continuation of the tracing have been laid. This meeting, attended by delegations from both states, is to further advance discussion and iron out contentious areas to enable the tracing and other activities to go on unhindered.
It is not intended for us to sit down and resolve the boundary problem. For us to sit down, look at the issues, identify and agree that yes, there are issues that need to be sorted out, and jointly agree on the path to follow towards fast-tracking the resolution process.
Recommendations emanating from these stakeholders' engagement are expected to guide the NBC in resolving the dispute to foster lasting peace and development in the boundary communities. In Abuja, Kelvin Ebonuaye, NTA News.
We will be going on a break. Please stay with us.
NTA Ijebu ode, your heritage station.
Operational effectiveness is key in security and personnel of the Nigerian police force, and this must be prioritized. To achieve this, the Nigerian Police Trust Fund has commenced a 4-day specialized training in intelligence-led policing and surveillance for personnel. Francis Form reports that the course is part of the broader vision under the Renewed Hope policing agenda.
The Nigeria Police Force, being the lead agency in internal security, is saddled with the responsibility of maintaining law and order, protection of lives and property, and the prevention of crime. To this end, the Nigeria Police Trust Fund, as part of its mandate, is equipping personnel with advanced skills in surveillance, data analysis, and intelligence gathering.
The course has been indeed expository and transformative. It has been able to equip us with current trends in modern-day policing.
This course did not just enlighten us, but it helped us to carry out our duty, both with our discretion, law, and every other aspect of life.
The course emphasizes the importance of real-time data in detecting and preventing criminal activities before they escalate. This initiative aligns with the Tinubu administration's commitment to strengthening internal security through modernized policing techniques.
Everything they have been taught about intelligence, and the most important thing is that they are going to look at it from the police angle. The IG have mentioned it time and time again, cooperate with all other sister agencies. We cannot do it alone.
We are also teaching them the new methodologies, new techniques, how to ensure that we can curb it. Crime is possible to curb. It's possible. And we are also going to relearn.
We have so far trained over 10,000 policemen, and we're poised to do more. And by the grace of God, going forward, Nigerians should see a better police force, a more efficient police force, and a more effective police service.
Since coming into office, the administration has focused on equipping the police force with the skills and tools needed to build a safer Nigeria. Francis from NTA News.
That's all we have for you today on NTA Ijebu ode News at 7. Thank you for staying tuned. Good night.